Frank Lampard spent just 18 months in charge of his beloved Chelsea before getting the axe from the notoriously ruthless Roman Abramovich. In this video, we are going to take a look at some likely destinations for Lampard as he continues his fairly young managerial career. Chelsea progressed through to the fifth round of the FA Cup, but their form in the Premier League is what cost the former England midfielder his job. With 19 games played, Chelsea were 9th in the Premier League table, behind the likes of Aston Villa, West Ham, Everton, and even Leicester, when they were expected to be challenging for a top 4 finish at the very least. Many Chelsea fans would have wanted Lampard to have been given more time, as he was developing their youth talent really well, and they saw a bright future for their club, which would have been built around a core of English players for the first time in a very long time. Lampard was allowed to invest heavily in the summer, with Chelsea spending more than any other Premier League club, and expectations for the season grew significantly. Usually, when a manager is given that kind of money to spend, it is understood that he will be given time to gel the players together. But as we all know, time is a luxury in the Premier League. So what next for Lampard? At 42 years old, Lampard is still in the very early days of his managerial career and already has 2 jobs under his belt. But who will be the next club to take a chance on the Romford-born manager, and are there any clubs he has links to that would take him on? We are going to look at some potential clubs in and out of England for Lampard, starting with the least likely destinations. New York City or New York Red Bulls. The Red Bulls suffered last season. Calls for a steady coaching staff were consistent and made throughout the campaign, as the Red Bulls witnessed 3 head coaches in one season. They came 6th in the East and ended up out of the playoffs in round 1. And having played at New York City, it's one of the potential destinations for the future. But I can't imagine Lampard going to manage in the MLS just yet. Perhaps towards the end of his career, or if his stock drops. So as we established that Lampard won't be moving to the United States just yet, let's turn our attention to England. As a player, Lampard spent time at West Ham, Swansea, Manchester City, as well as Chelsea. So he could take over at one of these clubs. Well, West Ham are performing very well under David Moyes, so there's no chance they will be sacking him anytime soon. Swansea are gunning for promotion in the Championship, and I don't think Lampard would want to take a step back at this moment into the lower division. Manchester City, well, they have Guardiola and they're on the way to winning the league, so no movement there. So which other clubs could Lampard target in England? Southampton. After making an incredible start to the 2020-2021 campaign, Southampton have lost their way. Coach Ralph Hasenhüttl did indeed find the right formula with the team that had beaten some of the top 6 earlier in the season. But recent results, including a 9-0 loss to Manchester United, have not been good. This could be a potential destination for Lampard if the club decides to part ways with Hasenhüttl. Cardiff City. Fighting for a place in the top 6 in the Championship, Cardiff City could make a change if results turn sour, and they would need someone at the helm that has experience in managing a team in a similar situation. Not to mention, Lampard would relish the prospect of managing a team that has a good chance of making it back to the Premier League instantly next season. Newcastle United. Steve Bruce is said to be close to the end at Newcastle, a big club that would provide a project for Lampard to really stick his teeth into. Newcastle are lingering too close to relegation though, and have lost some of their most influential players to injury until the end of the season. With Fulham breathing down their necks, the pressure could get to manager Steve Bruce, and Lampard could be a potential replacement. However, with no transfer window approaching and so many players injured, he won't like the lack of control at Newcastle. Bournemouth. Quite recently, Jason Tindall was sacked by Bournemouth, and Lampard's name was quickly linked with the vacancy. But as mentioned in the press, Lampard is not interested in taking the job at the Vitality Stadium yet. Lampard does have connections to Bournemouth through his uncle Harry Redknapp, but he has tipped the former Blues defender John Terry to take the job instead. Sheffield United. Sheffield United is also a potential destination, but as they've kept the faith with Chris Wilder up to now, it's hard to see them giving up. It looks too little too late in terms of staying in the Premier League, but Wilder may be just doing enough to keep his job to have another crack at the Championship next season. And finally, the England national team. As long as Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard, Wayne Rooney, and any other ex-England player is in management, they will always be linked to the England national team. For this one though, any potential replacement to Gareth Southgate will have to wait until the end of the Euro 2021 competition that concludes this summer. So this is an unlikely option. Outside of England, there are teams like Marseille who recently parted ways with coach Andres Villas-Boas. But I simply don't think Lampard and clubs in non-English speaking countries in Europe are ready for each other. This leaves two really serious options on the table. The first one is the Republic of Ireland national team. Coach Stephen Kenny was promoted to manage the senior national team after Mick McCarthy left, but Kenny has not won a single game so far. So the Republic of Ireland could be looking to make a change in the coming months, and Lampard's name has definitely been discussed. However, this job will not attract Lampard as much, especially since the squad isn't that strong anymore, and they will not be participating in the Euro 2021 competition. So that leaves us with one option, and this is the most likely team that Frank Lampard could end up at: Celtic. Neil Lennon has recently departed Celtic, and this could be the perfect job for Lampard to take on, as it would give him ample opportunities to win some trophies and develop further as a manager. The rivalry with Steven Gerrard at neighbours Rangers would surely shine some more light on the Scottish Premiership and provide plenty of entertainment. For now, this seems to be the most likely destination for Lampard for two main reasons. From Lampard's perspective, getting some experience outside England on his CV will be really good, and Scotland would offer him a fresh start. Not to mention a really good chance to manage a top team with Champions League potential. The second reason is Celtic wanting him so bad. The move will be great for Celtic and the Scottish League in general. Two of the biggest names in the continent managing two of the biggest Scottish teams. The rivalry, the headlines, and the drama write themselves. It would be absolutely great for Scottish football. So what do you think? Could Lampard follow former England teammate Steven Gerrard to Scotland and take over at Celtic? Let us know what you think in the comment section below.